Hello, team, and welcome to this week's episode of our Copeland Coins live stream. Today, we are talking about gimmicks, how to properly use them to make sure that they help you become a better magician and don't ruin your magic or distract from that in any way. So, I have here Jeff and Rick. How we doing, guys?
Man, I'm
Good.
doing great. I'm energized, ready to be here. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, today we're talking all about gimmicks, which is
yeah,
very exciting because we just started getting into gimmicks ourselves, and it's been a long time that you were solely slights, right, Jeff? With Copeland.
yeah, man. I'm feeling like I should grow my beard out like Rick's a little more. Like I'm getting some wisdom here.
He always does have a nice, nice beard going on, man.
We gotta wake Rick up there. Rick is the workhorse of the weekend. He's the hero of the team right now. Rick had a long weekend of filming and sessioning some new exciting products coming out. So if you see Rick Dragon over there, pass him a virtual cup of coffee.
Silly.
This is Rick's
Silly.
Monday, by the way. I think he just woke up from a long 36 hours of slumber.
It's been a crazy week. That's awesome.
There's some contrast going on here. Yeah, there was a long time. So for me, like my journey into gimmicks was I wanted to be ready to perform at any given time. Like if somebody asked me to perform magic, I could grab their props and I could perform every trick in my repertoire, and no one could ever say, "Hey Jeff, remember that time you did this at that party? Do it here tonight for my friends." And I would just be ready to go. And like so, man, I had to be gimmickless. I had to be able to work with a deck of cards that had been dipped in mud, and your double lift had 3 layers of children's crayons in between it, and it would still look good. And any size coin and gimmickless and just any currency, it didn't matter. Any coin-like object, I could do every single routine, and that wasn't practical. It just wasn't practical for life. Like as I got going, and I still love the pure sleight of hand. But one of the reasons I self defeated myself with that when I started carrying around a traveler wallet every day. And I almost held up a traveler wallet. When I started carrying around a deck of cards every day, when I said, "Hey, I'm a professional magician. I need to be ready to go. If somebody doesn't have the deck of cards, I've got to supply it." And so, though it was great to have that skill set, and I highly encourage you to develop it, I started defeating myself when I was bringing my own props and carrying them every single day in my own pockets. And so it's like, why not have that advantage? And I would say like it took me years, decades to get to that level, back to that level on coins where I said, "Hey, I'll carry the coin gimmick as well," because it maybe was a personal challenge, but I was already doing it in my deck of cards. I was already doing it with other props that I might have around a coin box here, just things I can grab off the tabletop. I was already bringing my own specialty gimmicks or props. Even my coin box is ungimmicked. I had those things on me. So why would I limit myself in the coin to say my coin has to be pure sleight of hand, and that I have to be able to do it with every single thing? And then that's a noble pursuit, and there is a reason to do that for sure. Like there is a reason, because you won't always have your props on you. You should be prepared. But if I am stepping into my element and I know I'm going out, there's no reason in my mindset now I shouldn't have those items that are out there that could allow me to do the most impossible clean vanishes. And there's no reason to not have those tools at my arsenal now as I grow in this. So that's where I'm at today.
I think it's really interesting because I think there's almost like a stigma amongst coin magic in general that is, we have to learn the most difficult thing, pure sleight of hand. There can be no gimmicks. You know what I mean? We have to, just because that's what makes us coin magicians.
Mm. Yeah,
But
Caleb, preach on that, because you have been fully immersed into Rick and I's realm here in the last 6 months. Like, yeah, share on that.
no, it's just interesting because I think that there is definitely a place for pure sleight of hand, like you're saying, being ready at a moment's notice. Uh, my kind of first love in magic is cards, and so having that from a shuffle deck in use repertoire that you could use with any deck, just pull a deck of cards out of your cabinet or your drawer over there, and we'll do some magic. That is very valuable. but it's amazing what you can do when you add gimmicks. You can take that up a whole other level, if you're doing it the right way, because people won't expect that you would use gimmicks in this way. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. That's pretty exciting stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Rick, what you got, Ricky?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here thinking there's kind of two categories of gimmicks when you, even when you look at cards and coins. So, like, I would classify one set of gimmicks as more of utility, and another set of gimmicks as kind of like one-hit wonders, like the Ultra Mental deck or the Invisible deck. You can only do one trick with that. You can present it in a variety of ways, but I mean, as opposed to a double face card or a double backed card, which you could just leave that in your deck, do dozens and dozens of other card tricks or packet tricks from the regular deck. And then when you want to do that trick that needs the double face or the double backer, it's easy enough to just bring that into play and put it in the right spot. And same goes for coin gimmicks. So the oldest gimmick, like we've talked about this before, the copper silver coin. I have a few routines where I use the copper silver coin, and I'm not even using it, but it's playing the part as one of the other silver coins in the routine. And then it's not until the follow-up routine or even the one after that I'll actually use the properties of the copper silver. So it's been laying there the whole time.
Like next level, Ricky.
That's what I mean. So if you think about how much you can squeeze out of a gimmick, or if you want to use the word gaff, which is, I think the gaff is technically like a fake, something that looks like the real thing that it.
A gaff, that's how you pull a big tuna on your boat. A gaff. You get that tuna and you lift them over the boat edge.
That is another definition there. But a gimmick is more of like it accomplishes the effect for you. So like a flap card, it's sort of mechanical. It does the magic, and that's all it does. But a gaff would be like a shell or a copper silver. It looks like the real thing, but it's fake. So if you look at the stuff in those terms, like you will still grow as a magician, you will save money, and you're utilizing all the pathways available to you to be creative, and like I said, to still grow. Because if you buy too much of these gimmicks like flap cards and there's even some crazy coin gimmicks too, you're not going to grow. You'll do these tricks, but you have to do one trick and then put that away, and then here, look at this deck, it does a different thing, and let me put that away. Oh, look at this coin trick. You'll end up being like that instead of a true performer can just seem to flow, and you don't know the end or the beginning of one routine to the next. A true performer, you'll see just a show. You won't
see it. You won't see it, but it will just be there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff,
Look
man.
Look at that. Rick just dropped the mic and sipped his soda. That was it. That was the mic.
I think you bring up an interesting point. Maybe we should look into flap coins. Flap coins, where just
I've been working on that.
But no, he makes a good point. Yeah, utility gimmicks versus, like, I think you said one-hit wonders. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, like I made the mistake at Magi Fest. I bought a deck of cards because
he was so excited
in love. But in the weeks following, I started playing with that, and I was like, man, I wish I didn't buy this. Because here's another thing. You look at what the effect is. What's the magical effect going on? And so this particular deck of cards, it was like when you distilled it down, it was just a prediction, really. So then, if you think of in all the effects in terms of like, what's the bottom line there? You don't have to buy that gimmick, because like, if it's just a prediction effect, there's 100 ways to do that.
Yeah.
And so,
right.
I kind of
I
regretted
will argue. Let's go out. Like, I'll argue if that deck like does it better than anything else, and particularly if you've got a set show or a performance piece, like that could allow you to focus on your audience more. Like at that, I hear exactly what you're saying, because gosh, you just broke it down again for me, and how quickly I forget like that difference, how you orchestrate it so cleanly between gaff and gimmick. Like I see it, you get more mileage from understanding out of the gaff because it's more universal principle. It can be there in play the whole time, versus that gimmick has a very special niche. And sometimes I would say for my stage show, or if I've got a close-up set or something and I know I'm going to be repeating that same set, that gimmick that has that one set niche job has it, and it can do it better than anything else. It allows me to focus on the performance. I mean, is that fair? Like for those that are out there performing daily,
and that brings up a good point. If you're able to define who you are as a magician, like I define myself as mostly a minimalist. I love close-up magic, 1 to 3 people at a time. Most of the stuff I do, it could play bigger, like parlor, but what I love is close-up and direct magic. So if you can define who you are, it'll dictate, is this gimmick worth it for me? Is it right for me? Will it prevent me from growing? Well, if you're a stage performer and you have a show and this thing just is perfect and it fits right in, and you don't have to worry about going from one trick to the next, and if it would look awkward to put this thing away and bring up, so you bring up the good point about, from one person to the next, the same reasons may not matter. So consider that.
Yeah, because I don't think we're saying it's not necessarily the idea of getting rid of all gimmicks, but the idea of, I heard this thing one time that was pretty good on how to think about your magic purchases, and it's like, okay, I'm going to think ahead of time. Where am I going to use this? What purpose does this serve in my magic? And so that's why we as Copeland, shameless plug here, try to create things that are going to be either utilities or routines and things that you can build on and create your own thing, like recoil that Rick put out, like just that one concept of the changing a kind of a spellbound type routine, but in a different way. And we've already seen people uploading videos that are coming up with different ways to use it. So just having these tools, these sleights, these other props, these gimmicks at your disposal, and learning how to use them the right way, you can express yourself as an artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a great discussion and great breakdown. Good insights, guys. So yeah, there's a couple of comments or things I do want to check here. Okay, I'll be normally on this, but Mike D mentioned earlier, he was talking to reply to what Rick was saying, and your pockets will fill up quickly. And that is a huge consideration, as we're always talking about. Like if you have all these individualized gimmicks, your pockets are going to fill up pretty quickly. So, know your own performance style. Like, do I want to come out with 10 different gimmicks, or maybe tonight I just take 1 or 2 of them, and, or know where you're at. Because you can definitely pocket management. We've talked about this. You can go back on our channel and see, we had a great discussion on pocket management with, we've done it several times, but Miles came on, and that is a stellar video. If you guys watching today have not seen Miles Thornton on our YouTube, that video is worth the price of admission.
And Rick also did a really good one when we were talking about everyday carry, and Rick was showing inside of his coin purse how he has like 18 different effects he can get out of just the coins in his coin purse. So
yeah, that video is very good as well.
I just thought of if anyone knows or has been privileged to meet in person Garrett Thomas. That's someone who, like Jeff, you were talking about being prepared and in the moment, and Garrett carries with him like I don't know how much different stuff.
Yeah.
And then he has like a bag with him. So he's someone who wants to truly appear as a wizard, he wants to embody like what it means to be a magician. So he carries
in the 21st century, I would say. I mean,
yeah,
he has this throwback vibe to maybe 500 years ago, but then he also has this like modern presence, and he lives in that reality.
He has tailored pants and vests that have extra pockets, and there's something in every pocket, and like he could do something on the spot, and he's got gimmicks all over him, and I don't know, he just has a huge catalog just in his mind, and like a toolkit strapped to him.
You make a good point.
Yeah, he has his toolkit strapped to him, and there's no doubt it allows him to stay polished and up to date on all those routines, which is something to that.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about maybe last week or the week before about Mike Skinner. It's like some of these guys have these. Del Rey was another one, apparently had these massive repertoires, and so whether you choose to use a whole bunch of gimmicks or you choose to be more minimalist, like Rick was saying, learning how to use those gimmicks properly is really what's going to be the difference maker. So, and which ones are going to be useful for you. So we've already kind of discussed utility versus like one-hit wonders, which I think was a very good concept. Thanks for introducing that, Rick. Let's talk a little bit about when is a good time to use a gimmick, like in the timeline of your performance. Any initial thoughts?
Rick, do you want to start on that, or I can go ahead?
Well, my immediate thought is, it's always safe as an opener and a closer, because as you open a set, well, let me say this too: gimmicks allow you maybe more of a chance to create visual magic. So for that reason, I say opener and closer.
Oh yeah.
But then depending on the gimmick, you might have to, like I was talking before, put it away to bring out the next thing, unless you can do multiple things with that gimmick. So, and the other thing would be if it can hide in plain sight, as I was talking before, copper, silver coin, then you can open with whatever you want, do that trick, and then at whatever point you decide, then use that gimmick like in the middle of your set. So
exactly, there you go, copper silver change. That's interesting. So like opening with the gimmick, that's a cool idea for sure, to kind of capture that that interest with something super visual. And then I was going to mention too, I think some of the most deceptive use of gimmick I've ever seen is when you haven't used gimmicks for a majority of your set, and then at the very end you use a gimmick, and nobody has seen a gimmick or perceived that there could be anything fishy going on, and you throw in, it'd be more of a gaff, like what you're saying, Rick, something that looks just like what you've been using the whole time. Like if you have been using a deck of cards the whole time and everybody's used it and shuffled it, and you've done all this amazing magic, and at the very end you switch that deck for a gimmick deck. Now it's like they're blowing their minds because they just assume you've used the same deck the entire time,
Yeah, I like that. I would say that my structure has been such as typically I will start with utility devices, things that are unseen to aid. So it gets like my opener, and shameless plug here, is Blackbird. I'm going to use Blackbird to get regular coins into play that are examinable. The props can be handed out for examination. I'm going to move from there into pure sleight of hand, and then I'm going to end on gimmicks. Like, because that way the opener Blackbird is so clean and they can examine the props. They stop asking those questions. I can do my pure sleight of hand set with those coins or move into card magic. And then, like Rick is saying there, for that closer, and what Caleb is saying there, they've already examined. I've been fair with them. They can touch, they can feel anything. I'm going to close with that gimmick to get that next level impossible magic and they know it's done. They know they've been fooled. They've relaxed. They've suspended their belief. They're just watching and laughing, and they don't need to touch. And so I built that trust with them at that point, that they know that I'm legitimate at my skill set.
That's a really interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting. It's almost like the thing. A long time ago, there used to be a lot of tricks where you would like hand out the gimmick and say, "Here, check it out now, because you're gonna want to check it out later." And it's like, okay, that's like a pattern line, I guess. But if you can
Yeah.
actually do it and hand these out, and and at the end they literally don't want to check it out because they've already checked it out like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it would be
You know,
redundant, or it would be insulting.
right,
It's like,
right,
I
right,
still don't trust you. I still don't like you, even though I've laughed and had fun this entire time, and I want to hire you for this party. I don't trust you. Let me see that again.
right.
It's not human nature. It's a very special individual that will go to that level of 3 or 4 tricks in, 5 tricks in, still like, let me see that. It's like, uh,
And you
yeah.
bring up another interesting point I wanted to address, which is you said Blackbird, which is addressing gimmicks and gaffes that are not actually the props you're using. They're aiding the props you're using.
Mhm.
Because we have a couple, and there's a bunch on the market that are like the Traveler wallet is a
Utility
specialty,
device.
a
I would
utility device.
call
Yeah,
utility device.
that you wouldn't think like the audience, you know what I mean? It's helping to push it even further away from their awareness, because it's not the actual coin you're performing with. It's a thing you're using with the coin, right?
Yeah. Anything that is some kind of, there's a product market this, but a silent assistant, or um, Rick, what do you call it? A third hand? I call it a third palm. Like this, and that's another live stream there. But something that is aiding to get regular items into play that is not perceivable. That is, is your, hidden, not stooge, but aid. Somebody
Or out
behind
of
the curtain.
play. Yeah, we're out of play, meaning
Yeah.
like Cervante type
Like
stuff,
a raven.
Yep.
A raven, a top it, a holdout, whatever that may look like, a card holdout, a blackbird style holdout, what else is there? It could be raven. I was thinking like magnets. It could be some sort of invisible piece of yarn.
And that's a really cool one too, because that when you they sold a piece of yarn. when you when Rick was talking about gaps that hide in plain sight, if you had a coin that they didn't know was shimmed or was
Mhm.
magnetic, like we do, then you're able to use other gaps to bring it in and out of play without there being any. It appears normal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that appears normal. One of my favorite, and everybody knows about it. One of my favorite things, and maybe it is yours too, is sleeves. That's just like,
Mhm.
that is the funnest thing, because everybody knows magicians hide things up their sleeves, and then to do it in front of them, like, it's just the greatest joy. To do it skillfully, right? And like not insulting, and not like, it just brings joy, like, to your artwork. I really think it does, to be having fun with people in that way, like, and to not be a jerk about it. You're not like trying to smear their face. You're just like doing what they expect, and they're enjoying and loving it and having no clue. I mean, that's the
Yeah, I
joy.
think there's a part of Jeff's Blackbird routine where I was watching it, and he he says, and most people think I use my sleeves. I'm not going to use my sleeves. And at that moment, he throws something into his sleeve. I was like, that's so great. So yes.
Been known to do things like that. Yeah.
Arthur asked an interesting question. Any preferred methods for switching gimmicks for ungimmicks, for ungimmicked coins or props? Any thoughts there?
Rick, you got one?
Depends on a lot. I mean,
True.
what's the situation? What's the venue there? Is it coins? Is it cards? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say, it depends if you're seated or standed.
Yeah.
A lot of times what we're talking about, what Rick was mentioning there, Arthur, is just being so smooth in your seams in between your tricks that it wouldn't even be noticed if you put one deck of cards in your pocket and you pull out a different one. Just by your pattern, your presentation, and your lack of nervousness, That's just like you do a trick with the cards, you put those away, then you do it. And you mess with these coins or whatever, or these handful of cards that were still on the table. And next time you go for that deck, you pull out a different box, and it's seamless where the audience doesn't even know it. So preferred methods for me are methods that are not perceivable, that the audience never picks up on the method. Like, oh, he just went into his pocket needlessly to pull out a new deck of cards, and it's now red backed instead of blue, or it's seashell pattern instead of bicycle pattern. Like, why did he pull out a different deck of cards? Those kind of things that the audience may not call you out on. They might not, usually they're polite enough to not call you out on, but they're thinking it. You raised a red flag in the back of their mind, and that child in the back of their mind is saying, call out Mr. Magician. And the adult is arguing on the other side, the little conscious is, no, don't be rude to him. He's just trying to entertain us. And it's like, oh, but he did something sneaky. And like, no, he's an evil man. And he gave me a broken wand when I was a little child, and I have to call him out on it. There's that battle.
And so they say,
think about it. You have it too when you're watching a immature performer. Think about it.
And so they say, wow, that was very good. And you never get any better because nobody ever calls you out because they're too polite.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, I'm calling you out now. I'm calling you out. Just I didn't even watch you perform. I'm calling you out. So I think it's being again, magic performance is not unlike playing chess, and you need to be a move ahead. And grandmasters are how many? Were they 6 to 8 moves ahead of you? And so it's developing your moves ahead of your audience, not just the one ahead principle that I am one coin ahead. I'm going to produce this next coin. They don't see it coming. You're also, I'm one thought ahead of what they're perceiving of me. And I'm one thought ahead of what he's perceiving. And I'm one thought ahead on what the angles are behind me. And I'm one thought ahead on where this is going next and what my trick will be. And I'm 2 thoughts ahead. I know where the closer is going to be, or I know this is going to fail here. So I'm going to have to use this closer ahead. And I'm juggling all these things, all these balls are up in the air, but I've done it so much that it's very natural. And actually, I'm just kind of holding the balls here, and I'm picking and placing them in, and I'm setting up my chessboard, and I'm setting up for the checkmate. And it's not juggling at this point. It's, okay, this is going to go here. He's going to move here, and I'm going to move there. And it's relaxed, and it's not chaotic at all.
That's a really good point, because I think that could be a really cool live stream topic, as well as talking more about routine structure, because those are my favorite ways to switch things as well, in the structure of the routine. If you structure the routine properly for the switch, then you don't draw attention and heat to the switch, because it's like psychologically invisible, if that makes sense. It's kind of a big concept, but Arthur pointed out, yeah, just like the Tommy Wonder deck switch, and that's exactly it.
That's basically it.
Those ideas of movement and psychology.
Yeah. There was another question that we missed from Michael earlier, by the way. I'll throw it up. So he asked a question about, is there someone that come up with video for copper silver routines? Yes, there is. There's a guy. I keep pointing the wrong way. There is a guy right next to me. Ricky has some work on this, and we have some work on. Go ahead, Rick.
Maybe in the future.
Oh, okay. You haven't really
maybe in the future, yet? Not like just on the copper silver, but
okay. I thought you had a routine and trip.
No, that's
okay.
3 regular coins, 3 routines, 3 regular.
Yeah, so Rick has some private label stuff, and which don't mind plugging here because it's good stuff. But he hasn't released that work yet. I actually filmed some stuff at one time for the website, and we never released it. And then we have some stuff. We have if you go to copelandcoins.com, we have the copper silver video that I go over the basic handling and teach a routine that's, I would call the word commercial. It's very easy to perform. It has 1 sleight you have to do twice, and it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and we have talked about doing that, but it's cool.
Yeah.
There's the David Roth videos that we carry.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of copper silver stuff on there.
Yeah, Roth.
There's a video. I can't remember when it came out. It's like over 10 years ago. But Cameron Francis and Dave Forrest, they collaborated on this thing called Attack of the Copper Silver Coin. And it was a lot of like offbeat ideas. And they were really cool. I don't know if you could find that anymore, but
I don't know. But you're right. If you go to Copeland Coins and search David Roth, I don't have the exact link, but if you just click the magnifying glass, you'll see we have the David Roth collection. Rick is right. There's a lot of good material there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hold on. Actually, I can get you the exact link right here.
Okay, good deal.
It's just slash David Roth.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Products / David Roth.
Yep, there it is. So yeah, that's just great suggestions, great ideas there. But I think we've covered a whole lot in this episode here, just all about learning how to think about how you're using your gimmicks, regardless of what kind of gimmicks you have, what ones are more useful, and how to plan those in your routine structure so that they are as strong as possible instead of detracting from your performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So if anybody has any other thoughts, please leave those in the comments and below the video. And if you have any topic suggestions, we are always open for new topics that you want to hear about. We'd love chatting magic with you guys. So let us know. Send us an email to team@copelandcoins.com. Give us those suggestions there. And check out our new gimmicks. We have the copper silver and the brand new gimmick, the coin shell, which I actually have a picture of right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, check out our gimmicks, our copper silver with the illusion edge. You can go read all about it, what makes it the most unique. Read about our shell, what makes it a little bit unique than other products on the market. And we got a nice review came in for our first review about the quality and the price. And copper silver's got quite a few reviews there. Go ahead, read those, check those out, hear what people are saying. We'd be honored to let you guys hear firsthand. If you have any questions as well, email team@copelandcoins.com and see what we're doing in the gimmick and the gaff department, I should say, as Rick reminded us, in the gaff department, about how we're trying to change the market, change the landscape, and make gaffs that work better for you and allow you to have more confidence and focus on your audience, less on your gaffs, less on gaff management, less on prop management, more on people management. We think your magic will be more beautiful and stronger if you are focused more on your audience than your props.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, I think we will sign off. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we look forward to